development, a diversified economy would make it easier. Non-oil export strategy is key to the federal government's economic agenda. How can Nigeria boost its non-oil exports with so many barriers and headwinds with import and the exporter business? Let's talk to Dr. Kaide Farintona, National Vice President, Association of Nigeria Licensed Customs Agents, ANLCA. Great to have you on the program. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I'm delighted to be on this morning.
Great to have you on the first day of February. Now, let's get into it now. So in recent times, the Nigerian customs have, intercepted cargoes, containing cocaine and hard drugs in the ports. And the customs have also fingered freight forwarders as aiding the clearance of these. How can you defend this?
Well, thanks. That's a very technical question because the very government agencies will always apportion blames. However, I remember at towards the last quarter of last year, 2021, we did collaborated with Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, where we tried to sensitize our members on the need to, when they see something, they must say something. That's number one. They should also make sure that they should not facilitate clearance of psychotropic substances, drugs, cocaine, and what have you from the seaport. And I remember the NDLA chairman sent one of his directors to our office, where even Anaka is one of the ambassador of WADA. WADA is a war against drug abuse. So if custom is now shifting the blame to freight forwarders, that is not too good for us, because I do know that NDLA, which is the agency that actually saddled with that responsibility, will never push the blame to to freight forwarders, knowing fully well that we are actually trying our best to sensitize our members to make sure that they do not facilitate clearance of illicit drugs, psychotropic substances from our waterways. However, you never can tell if out of 12 the disciples of Jesus Christ, you have Judas. There are some people who may be actually indulging in this to make money. And we have also told our members that anyone found wanting or found to be culpable in this act will be delisted, will not hesitate to make sure he or she is arrested, and will hand him over to NDLA. That's number one. Secondly, we have also enlightened our members because we now have some group of freight forwarders who take their bill of lading online through internet or whatever. So they do not even have access to the consignee who has this consignment. All they have to do is they forward them the bill of lading, wire them the money, clear this consignment. We have told them that make sure that you are able to, number one, give an indemnity form to whoever is your importer. You must also create a contact. If the consignee is not available, his relative must be available in case of this issue, so that we'll be able to know how to fish the importer. Recently, we have a case where I think Ghana or whatever was arrested, and we have told the agent, make sure you produce the importer. And he succeeded in producing the importer. So apportioning blame or shifting to freight forwarder is not too good for us. We are trying our best to make sure we sensitize our members not to be part of clearance of illicit drug from our waterways.
All right, but the freight forwarders are quite an important aspect of international trade. But how can technology help your people do the work even better?
Yeah, technology it has its advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages is that I can be online now and I meet maybe a client who wants to bring in consignment to Nigeria. We establish maybe contact, and he said he's going to send me consignment. He did send me that consignment. We have not even seen at all. So he will send you the consignment and send you the bill of lading, and even wire you the money, clear that consignment. All you need to do is to make sure that know your customer well. So you need to know your customer, establish minimum, at least a contact on how he can be reached in case of issues like this. And also, we have told our members to make sure that they give their clients indemnity, so that you are indemnifying yourself that in case anything happens, these are the things you told me that are in your consignment. A 1x40-footer container said to contain so things. Anything found to be offensive in that container, that freight forwarder or customs broker should not be held responsible. However, by virtue of the fact that having the original bill of lading or being the custodian of the good or being the freight forwarder clearing that consignment, you are the first call. So you are the first suspect that will be arrested in case anything happens. That is why it is very, very expedient for any freight forwarder to make sure that you are able to trace your importer or the consignee that gives the consignment to clear. It's very, very important.
Quite
Because we have
interesting.
some people whose line of business is to make sure that they shun the queue or they are non-conformists and they want to bring in these psychotropic substances, illicit drug, because we now have a situation where in the last 24 months is becoming increasing in geometric, is increasing seriously the rate of importation of psychotropic substances, and they'll find some gullible agent who wants to clear it, and they give. And although
Right.
we may have some other classes of freight forwarder who knows what they're clearing. I can't actually defend those ones, but I know that 70% of those people are actually innocent.
All right, I guess it's about sifting the good eggs from the bad eggs right there. But let's look at another issue
Yeah.
now. The 4.1 trillion naira, revenue target set for the Nigeria Customs Service, which is a 145% increase. Quite a huge target, if you ask me. But what came to mind when you heard about this?
Yeah, what came to mind is that because I am one of those I've been preaching in the last 2 years that federal government do not need to give Nigerian Customs Service target. If you don't even give them target, I believe that we can surpass whatever you have given them. It has now created a situation in the last 2 years where Nigerian Customs Service personnel twist Nigerian importers, deliberately slam them with illegitimate DN, that is demand notices. Even when you have your invoices now, you are subjected to queries by Nigerian Customs Service because they know that all they have to do is to make sure that they meet up this target at all costs. And that's why they go extra mile to do illegitimate things. And the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade has 6 principles on the issue of value of goods. If I have a consignment that I've brought in, there are 6 principles. The first one is my transaction value. If custom is querying my transaction value, there are other 5 principles to follow. And this law has been domesticated in Nigeria. But unfortunately, we have a custom that do not follow this law. All they have to do is either to go on internet value or an assumed value by that officer and slam it on you. So giving them 4 whatever trillion target this time around is going to create two things. Number one, Nigerian importers may now run away from Nigerian seaport, resort to other neighboring countries, now still smuggling this consignment through the unapproved route. That's number one. The other one is that the very few ones that will be coming to our waterways, you may have enough litigation in the year 2022 because I cannot buy a commodity for $5 and Nigerian Customs Service will be telling me that internet value is $15. And these are the things that is not acceptable and that is causing a lot of chaos and creation. And that is why we have a situation where Nigerian Customs Service now has shifted from professionalism to make sure that they are not even doing what is called trade facilitation again. All they want to do is that they meet up that target at all costs, at whatever cost, whether to amputate the trading community or to slam illegitimate and arbitrary demand notice on the trading community, which is not too good for us. This is
I
a very,
guess
very sad thing.
I guess maybe the target shouldn't be revenue at this point. But for customs to achieve its revenue targets, freight forwarders must also make adequate and honest declaration. As a national, vice president, how do you see compliance there?
Yes, I put it to customs, and I'm giving a challenge, a public challenge or debate, that in the last 4 years, they should give us the data of the revenue they have generated. We have two types of compliance now. We have the voluntary compliance, and we have forced compliance. Let them give us the data of voluntary compliance and give us the data of forced compliance. You now see a situation where in the last 4 years, the level of compliance, the graph has been increasing. Level of compliance is increasing. But when there is no enabling environment, that's number one. When the government is only interested in target, there's no trade facilitation. The World Customs Organization, in knowing fully well that we can have a situation where somebody may clear anything out of the port without going through the process, created a department called post-clearance audit, meaning that if you succeed in bringing any consignment out of the port illegitimately, the post-clearance audit will do what is called post-mortem, exhume the dead body that has not buried very well, and issue you demand notice. That is why you license all the various freight forwarders in the port. But we have a situation where it is very unfortunate that the level of compliance is increasing on a daily basis. or a yearly basis, but there's no enabling environment. That's number one. No, importers are not even encouraged. That's number two. Trade facilitation is zero in our waterway. That's number three. And I keep telling everybody that ease of doing business is not existing in our seaport. And this is very, very unfortunate.
Quite. All right. Another issue now, $3.1 billion customs modernization project. You know, the objective is to completely automate every aspect, you know, of the customs business. What are your thoughts on this project?
Yes, I look at it as one of those elephant projects. I remember my elementary language, and they would say an elephant project, a white elephant project. That number one, it is an avenue to siphon our money. We do not even need that contract ab initio. The issue of modernization of customs started during the era of late Diko Inde, and they have started for a very long time. After that, we introduced what is called pre-arrival assessment report, to make sure that we key into what is happening in the international climes. After that, we started what is called e-payment. So talking about modernization of customs and now giving a contract for almost $1 billion, it is illegitimate. It is not necessary. It is another way to siphon the public payers and taxpayers' money. Because
No, but
all
they're
we need
talking
to do is
about,
to improve on all the things.
but sir, they're talking about automating every aspect, you know, of their
Yes,
activities.
talking about automation. Automation is a gradual thing that we have started in the last 10 years. So it is a thing that we just need to conclude on a project that has started before now. Why do you now bring in Chinese? All in the name of you want to increase automation. Why do you now? We have local engineers, we have Nigerian engineers in line with local content. These are things I even think Nigerian government should be thinking of. In line with local content, bring in indigenous people that can actually give us the better software, increase the automation of Nigerian customs service, save more money, because we're in COVID-19 now. Every country in the whole world is looking for how to save more money and generate more money and not unnecessarily tax the citizenry. And this is what we lack in Nigeria economy, and that is not too good for us. Why do you subject our economy to that kind of strenuous situation, giving us that preponderance, almost $1 billion to a foreigner, knowing fully well that these are the people that will use the handbag and take it abroad? Why don't we look for a local engineer or an indigenous engineer that can do it lesser than that? Whatever he or she makes, he pays his tax back into the Nigerian economy. He employs Nigerian youth who are graduates and do not have jobs. It is a white elephant project and another way to siphon money. And I want to believe maybe the government of today is looking for money for election 2024, 2023. It is
bringing it home is
my personal
actually
opinion.
Yeah, well, bringing it home is actually a good idea. But you know, let's look at this the electronic traffic management system for the Apapa port, known as the ECoLup system. It's been up for about a year now. How would you describe the impact so far?
Yeah. Yes, like I told somebody in the Nigerian Port Authority when it started about a few months ago, about I think December, I told them ECoLup system has succeeded in doing one thing. It has succeeded in reducing traffic gridlock we have in the upper seaport and the volume of vehicular traffic into the seaport. It has not succeeded in giving us the desired result. What is the desired result? To make sure that cargoes are existed and they have unhindered access and there's free flow of traffic. We now have a situation where some people who are contractors and they are not even real freight forwarders have hijacked that portal and they are not even using it to make their money. And I think I gave them this advice that there's need to look for you to look inwardly. And Nigerian Port Authority, I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, normally gave licenses yearly. So why don't you bring out this data now, collaborate with Nigerian Customs Service, look at the current existing licenses that are still operational. Then you now allow these particular licenses to have access to your E2 or ECoLup system. That will now extricate all the people who do not even have business in the seaport and they don't have cargo to clear. All they want to do is to make money from that project. I think they need to do something and wake up on that ECoLup system. It's a very lofty idea, very laudable, but implementation too, we need to base up on it. So that, because I told them that if ECoLup system fails, then we are doomed because nothing seems to be working again. We have had task forces here and there. They have failed due to corruption or what have you. So if this ECoLup system now fails, then I don't know what we can resort to. It's very, very unfortunate. But I do know that the management of Nigerian Port Authority will wake up on that and actually improve on it.
All right. Well, we'll be tracking that aspect of the port. Thank you so much, Mr. Dr. Kayode Farinto, National Vice President, ANLCA. Thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So after the break, commodities market update is next. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning.